Okay, can we talk about how incredibly badass Commander Erwin was in this week's episode? I think it goes without saying, spoiler warning if you haven't watched this one right here, but this episode just exploded into one of the most biggest badass massacre action scenes that I've seen from Attack on Titan. And Commander Erwin truly proved why he is in charge of the Survey Corps. That's because even after being attacked by Titans and having his arm ripped off, he will still get right up in your grill and completely fillet your shit with his ODM skills. This was a great episode right here, which is building into the finale of the second season of Attack on Titan, and I honestly think it did deliver. The actual story here is very interesting, as we have all of these various factions and sides going up against one another, with Reiner and Bertholdt who want to do their own thing and return to their homeland with Ymir and Eren. You have Ymir, who's completely obsessed with Historia, doing everything to be with her selfishly. That's because she basically outright admits in this episode that she is completely in love with her. You have Mikasa, who is trying to basically kill every freaking thing that gets in her way. Was Mikasa not absolutely horrifying in this week's episode? How about that one scene when she was getting ready to go after Bertholdt and Eren, and Reiner actually uses his hand to actually protect both of them on his neck, and the look in her eyes. My God, I think I shit my pants during that scene. There are just so many things going on in this week's episode that honestly it's kind of hard to pinpoint how it all goes down. The first half of the episode is basically this huge dialogue between Ymir and Christa, and I think it's really cool that Ymir actually is able to sort of like partially release herself from her Titan body so that she can have a conversation with Christa, sort of just admitting that the only reason that she's doing all of this is just because she selfishly wanted to be with her the entire time. And while Historia seemed a little apprehensive at first, she does decide that she wants to be with her friend no matter the cause, no matter what is going to happen. A lot of that also having to do with the fact that she's being strong-armed by Reiner and Bertholdt, who are truly on a mission here. And that leads to some of the most emotional parts of the episode. I think the action scenes speak for themselves, but when you finally get like all of the main characters who are talking to Reiner up close and Bertholdt and telling them, was everything that happened before a lie? Were you really not our friends? Was this all just a part of your plan? How could you sleep at night knowing what you actually did? It's just disturbing to see that and see the friends actually break down there and question the loyalty in their friends, especially some of them that we haven't seen in a long time, especially Jean. It was really great to finally see his character back again and actually doing something kind of proactive in this episode, despite the fact that he is incredibly pissed off that his friends, in a way, basically betrayed them and all of mankind. Mikasa is a lot more black and white about it. If anybody just gets in her way or pisses her off, she's just gonna cut your ass down. Basically, the bulk of this week's episode goes down to the Survey Corps, who are chasing after Reiner and all the other Titan shifters. The cherry on top of this apeshit Sunday, of course, comes when Commander Erwin arrives, and he's brought along with him not only other soldiers, but a giant group of super hungry Titans. Basically, Erwin's plan here is to run directly into Reiner so that all of the other Titans are going to start attacking Reiner, and that's exactly what goes down here. Again, firmly establishing that they don't really have any sort of affiliation with those Titans. I have a feeling that those have something to do with the Beast Titan, since he has the ability to control them, but that's still all kind of a mystery at this point. So Reiner is completely just covered in all of these Titans, which are trying to bite through his armor, while he's also simultaneously trying to protect Eren and Bertholdt from being attacked by all of these various soldiers, especially Mikasa, who is out for the kill here. Now, the most shocking scene for me in this episode has to come when Erwin finally regroups with his other team and they start to headlong straight into battle, and out of nowhere, this Titan just comes out from the side, bites down on Erwin's arm, and starts to devour him as he gets separated from the other soldiers. But Erwin is so badass that even as his arm is being chewed on by a giant Titan and being ripped away from his team, he still tells them to advance. He still tells them to go forward and kick Reiner's ass and get Eren back. It's that important to the sake of humanity. This was awesome. Erwin completely surprised me in this episode. I always thought he was kind of a deadpan character in some of the previous seasons, and that's because we really didn't get to see him in action all that much, but man, he went freaking hard this week. Not to mention that great scene where they're talking to Bertholdt and they're trying to figure out if everything was a lie, and Armin is there, and he's trying to bait Bertholdt, telling them that why aren't they going to go back for Annie? She's being experimented on and tortured. They're desperately trying to get the secrets out of them, and this pisses Bertholdt off. He immediately makes it clear that he wants nothing to do with these guys, and then suddenly, Erwin appears from out of nowhere, still missing his arm, cuts right through him, freeing Eren, which allows Mikasa to save him, and man, this was triumphant as fuck. Erwin is so fucking hardcore that he just stares right directly into them as he falls back down to the ground. Erwin, you win the Badass of the Year award in this week's episode, without a freaking doubt. So, everyone starts to make their grand escape, and this is when Reiner starts picking up the Titans and just tossing them across the landscape, which slam and destroy into everything that they touch. And a lot of the main characters end up getting thrown from their horses, like Mikasa and Eren, and through the smoke, suddenly, a Titan appears. One that is going to look familiar to fans of the series. Yes, the Titan that runs into Eren and Mikasa at the end of this episode is the one that devoured Eren's mother. Ending this week's episode with another classic to-be-continued screen. What's the rundown on this week's episode of Attack on Titan? This finale of the second season is going to be really intense, I can already tell, and I have a bad feeling that something bad's going to happen to one of the main characters, and his name is Hannes. You get to see in the previews that Hannes is going to be very important in the next episode, and I have a feeling there's going to be a little bit of poetic justice here, because there's that big scene from the original episode where Eren's mother is eaten, and Hannes is there to try and save all of them, but he just completely stops himself in fear when he sees that incredibly creepy Titan. Here, I have a feeling he's going to try and go as hard as he can to actually take down this Titan, and something bad might happen to him. Reiner might come in and just completely crush him. Bertholdt could possibly transform. I just have a really bad feeling for Hannes, to be perfectly honest. His head's been on the chopping block the entire time, and really you could say that for just about any other character. But this one right here was just a roller coaster of monster battles, extreme action, and lots of just screaming. Just such a great episode right here. The whole time in this week's episode, you're just waiting for a bomb to go off, especially in the first half when Christa and Ymir are having their dialogue with one another. I really love it because it's such a reverse situation where it seems like Historia is the one who needs to be saved, but it's actually Ymir who's actually demanding to be saved by her, and it's honestly kind of heartwarming in a sense. It's pretty obvious that she is in love with her character, and I love that Historia isn't actually going to denounce her at all, and she actually still wants to be with her friend, even though it could result in them actually sort of betraying some of their other ones. It's very, very strange. That and the fact that I just love the imagery during that scene when they're running through the wilderness. There's a lot of really super detailed shots of just the streams and the waterfalls and the beautiful landscape, before it all eventually just explodes into a giant action scene when all the other soldiers finally arrive, and things get even crazier when Erwin arrives, which, like I said, Erwin, you fucking rocked in this episode. The episode also managed to punch me right in the feels, especially with all the scenes with the main characters going over to Reiner and trying to talk him down, as well as trying to get some good answers out of Bertholdt, which seemed to go nowhere. That is until Armin arrives and just completely freaking pisses him off. That scene was so tense that I was honestly gritting my teeth the entire time, wondering what was going to happen and see if Bertholdt was actually just going to explode with rage and transform into the colossal titan right there. I'm kind of curious as to why he's not doing this, as he seemingly does have some overwhelming power, but with all of the soldiers there and Eren and titan shifters, things could potentially go wrong for the seemingly invincible colossal titan. That, and just, I can't wait to see how the Beast Titan is going to fit into all of this, if we're even going to see him again for the rest of the second season. He's barely made any appearances in this one, and I'm very interested to learn what his deal is and what his affiliation is with all of the other Titans. There's just a lot of mystery to this show. It's kind of hard to say. Not to mention even more clues as to the origins of the Titans and the Titan shifters themselves, with Ymir even bringing up the fact that she actually stole the power of the Titans, and that's potentially why she was able to transform into the state she is in now. I'm guessing she means the scene when she ended up eating Marcel, the friend of Reiner and Bertholdt. And honestly, I think one of the more disturbing elements of this episode is just seeing how Mikasa is just tired of everyone's bullshit. She's tired of the lies and all of the betrayal, and she doesn't care who stands in her way. She was pretty much damn terrifying in this episode and displayed a lot of her incredible action prowess in this one. Not to mention, I also really like seeing Historia actually get her very first Titan kill in this episode. If there's one thing the series continues to do right, it's incredible sweeping action scenes. Not just with the monster battles, but I absolutely love when they move around in the ODM gear, especially because you never know quite what angle they're actually going to be flying from when they're actually attacking the Titans. Like when Historia cuts down that one that's getting ready to devour Ymir, she just slices through it sideways and then spins out back into the actual pose that she's in. And man, it just looks so awesome. The series certainly has a way with its action scenes, and it also does a great job of just fucking with the viewer's head. I mean, I didn't see that Titan coming out of nowhere and attacking Erwin. There was no way that was going to happen in my mind, and when it did, I was just like, okay, this is just fucked up. It kind of reminded me of that scene from the first season where Eren gets really pissed off at seeing his comrades get eaten, and he starts to run across the rooftops when suddenly a Titan just appears and bites his leg. And that's what's so terrifying about the Titans. They're huge, they're massive, you can see them, but they can just pop out from fucking anywhere because there are so many of them. They're absolutely terrifying, and I cannot wait to see how the terror is going to resonate in the final episode of the second season. It's going to be awesome. So, I loved this episode a lot. It's pretty much proving that the second season is way better than the first. The pacing has been better, the action has been insane, more backstory, more great characterization, and just some of the best action that you will see, period. Check it out, guys. It's a 5 out of 5 from me. If any of you did watch this week's episode of Attack on Titan, make sure to tell me what you thought about it in the comments section below. Did you have a favorite scene from this episode? What's going to happen in the big finale? How are they going to combat that big evil Titan that ate Eren's mother? Who's going to be the one to defeat it? And what do you hope to see from the rest of this second season before we move on to the inevitable third? Thank you guys for watching this review. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for all things Attack on Titan anime related. Like I said, make sure to leave me a comment telling me what you thought about the episode, and make sure to fly down with your ODM gear to the like button. But of course, if you didn't like this video, give it a thumbs down. I'll see you guys next time. And as always, stay damn down, baby!